Welcome to the Compendium podcast hosted by Leadership Books. In just moments, our host Michelle Smith will be joining us with a very special guest. Before we get started, I would like to introduce you to Michelle. She's an award-winning marketing professional with years of experience in diverse markets. She is a 4-time published author and is also a seasoned publicist and national speaker. Michelle has appeared on Rachel Ray, ABC, CBS, CNN, Fox National News, Success Magazine, and many national radio programs. And she specializes in helping authors and business owners achieve publishing success. Won't you please welcome Michelle Smith?
Hi, welcome to the Compendium podcast. I'm your host, Michelle Smith, and I'm very excited that I have author Erika Feinberg here with me today. And she's so amazing that I'm going to actually let her introduce herself versus me give you like a half shorten my version of her biography. So Erika, please take it away. And then I have questions for you after that.
I'll stop there. I'm amazing. That's enough, right? I'm amazing. That's funny. That's one of my favorite words. But yeah, I grew up out east. I live in Arizona now and bop around. I have been involved in leadership roles in the tech industry and served companies like directly for Ray Lane, Larry Ellison at Oracle Corporation, and Scott Teisler and Ted Turner of Turner Broadcasting, and helped them transform the businesses for years as a kid when I was, very, very young. And I had circumstance bring me to being able to become a millionaire by 24, so that was fun. And then I was leading businesses in the tech industry and also the digital marketing space, and brought one company to 3 million and sold it, another one to 25 million, sold it. This last one, it was generating over 94 million before we sold it. And I guess I'd say that I've grown as a kid. I always felt like an outlier, because my dad was a stockbroker, my mom was an opera singer. I never really watched TV too much. It was either more about the stock market or more about the arts and philanthropy, and didn't notice until later on that I was different. And also didn't notice until later on, until I became entrepreneur in residence at ASU after all of this, that I am exceptionally good at instincts, business instincts, and leading. I just love it. And I've done well, and it just seems easy. So I'm really in this mode of, now I am working full time, but my first love definitely is writing. And sharing and passing it on. So writing and public speaking, and now we're in a different world, so it's all digital. But I really do look forward to being your companion today and seeing where this goes.
Well, I absolutely love this because I don't know if I even shared this on our initial conversation, is that I'm actually from Silicon Valley. So I know that's just tech. And so that's why I said, you're just going to have to do your own, intro, because,
oh, buddy.
I served
all the VCs on Sand Hill Road and,
oh, yeah. I would
Lake, and I love that scene, but I liked commuting. I'd commute to the Bay Area from Arizona. I just didn't want to live there. Don't ask me why.
It's terrible. No, yeah. It's just and it's actually kind of funny. And this is sort of off course, but I have had people from high school that I know that just haven't left. And I said, big world out there. But what I want to talk about though is your book, Purpose, Passion, and Profit. And specifically to start out, what inspired you to write? What inspired you to, hey, I want to be part of this project? And how did that come about?
It has been a love of mine for years and unrecognized, just something that I really love to do. And it was interesting to see. I think it was really sparked by when I became CEO of Active Forever, which is the company that became huge. It was actually one of the largest and highest ranked e-commerce businesses in the country. Nice. And I loved writing content. I loved the human brain and understanding how people are thinking and staying relevant and really interesting and appreciated by people. And so it was so much fun. This was a product that was catering to people with physical needs and mental needs. So it was people who had mental needs, physical needs, and we had the products and solutions for certain types of situations. And it was so much fun to reverse engineer and figure out what people might be struggling with and searching for. So we'd come up and say, look what we have for you. You know, so it wasn't, you know, that's really how I looked at what they call SEO and ranking, right? But that's something that I really had a great time with. And then transitioning from selling that business and going to Arizona State University as their entrepreneur in residence for a year. When I started teaching, that's when it hit me. You know, this is when you really have to master storytelling. And you really have to master capturing people's attention, teaching them how to do it also. It made me put a science behind everything. And I ended up getting inspired and getting my master's in human dynamics and went in that direction. And I'm now toward the cycle. The end of that answer is I started being asked to, and I love this, by the way, to be a guest speaker for some pretty big masterminds.
Nice.
And I was invited to this mastermind that was led by Kyle Wilson, who is a very big name out there. He has an extraordinary mastermind group. And he asked me to write a chapter in his book. And this book, Purpose, Passion, and Profit, ended up becoming a top seller in 28 categories. And it's still a top seller. And it's been since 2018. So it's been out there for quite a while, and it keeps selling like crazy. And I just enjoyed telling that story so much. And the funniest thing, that chapter just came out of me in 20 minutes. And now I'm just ignited. Now I just want to keep writing. So that's the answer to your question.
The problem with most online bookstores is that, as an author, you have no connection to your readers. You have no idea if your grandmother, competitor, or that perfect client bought your book. If this wasn't bad enough, you're not privy to the purchase record of those buyers in order to sell them another book or service or consultation. The book retailer kept your sales data as their proprietary information, and you're the big loser. Now, to add insult to injury, because you have no connection to your book buyer, there's virtually zero chance that you'll connect to make them a client, hire you as a speaker, or attend your online course, a mastermind group, or privately consult with you. It's a model that has failed you time and time again. However, with Leadership Books, you'll always have access to your customers. We at Leadership Books would be honored to list your book alongside some of the most prestigious authors of our time. Would you like to join us? Just click the link below to get started.
Fantastic. So tell us about like chapter 11 in Millionaire by 24, because I think what you've done is absolutely going to have like an inspirational toll for people right now, because it's kind of, you have people reinventing themselves. So like, let's get into like what you wrote. Like, it's like,
okay.
Yeah, please. Like,
all right, that's great. The sentence I have to start with to put everything in perspective: everyone is here on earth for a reason. And that's no cliche. So it's interesting. You truly need to think about, why am I here? And I had mentioned that I was a little bit of an outlier as a kid. If I had let my true self come out, and I don't have a lot of memories of my childhood, they're all gone for some reason, but I do remember being seen as like this bubbly, inspiring kid. And I was in a high school, a public high school, and switched to private high school. And I found out that public high school voted me in their yearbook as like the person who most likely changed the world, right? And I was like, wow, I must have had and I got voted something else in my private high school. But, you know, I was graduating top of my class. I was really making an impact everywhere I went, but I still sort of felt like I was acting to fit in versus just being me.
Mm-hmm.
And as soon as I got to that point, when I hit this private high school, St. Luke's School in New Canaan, insane and amazing, amazing school that teaches purpose-based. They teach real life, you know, and they're very, very aggressive. Like very aggressive. You have to learn in that school. And it just hit me like I was my authentic self. All of a sudden, all this clarity came to me too. And I wasn't afraid. Fear went away. I was clear. And I was like, what's the worst thing that's going to happen? I'm here for a reason. I've got to give it, right? You have to give it. If you're hiding in a corner and you're scared, nervous about things and not going out because of that, you're ripping the world off somehow. Mm-hmm. Like you're depriving someone or something that needs you. And that's why I wake up like, woo, ready to go every day, you know, because it's like, I know the world needs me. And this book really goes into the history of how I got myself into these situations of serving Ray Lane. You know, like he was running Oracle Corporation, now, you know, multi-billionaire partner Kleiner Perkins, and, you know, just like this really big guy. And he would say things to me that were insane. I was a young kid, and he would put me on these projects that were crazy. And in my head, I was like, why does he think I can do this? You know, we wanted to build a completely new business unit, $150 million business unit. I'm this little kid. But the way he said it, he'd say, I know you can have this done by next Thursday. You know, so, and then there were times where I just felt like I had to pretend to be this big pro. And my chapter really is about that art of pretending and getting all the noise out of your head. Mm-hmm. So you're just completely focused in, like laser beam focused in on what you need to accomplish. And what I noticed is when I practice these techniques of, I'm going to call it pretending, when I practice these techniques, also massive blessings would just fall from the sky. Mm-hmm. So if you have your radar up, if you have a great deal of clarity around what you want to accomplish, what you have to accomplish, then all of a sudden the world hears it too, and you end up just receiving. And when you're in a panic mode or in a state of mind that has so much noise, you miss these things. They're always there. It's what you glean from what happens, what's put in front of you every day.
I absolutely love this, and I really want to continue. I have more questions, but right now We're going to take a quick break, and we're going to have a little message from Leadership Books, and then I'm going to interrogate happily Erika a little bit longer. Stay tuned.
Hi, I'm Ron from Leadership Books. Leadership Books is a premier book retailer and news source specializing in nonfiction books. Books that help its readers change their lives, business, community, and family. Our authors are some of the finest thought leaders in the world of business, finance, and faith. Take a few moments and check out our authors, and I'll give you $10 off your first order.
Welcome back, and question for you, Erika. What are the key takeaways from the book? What do you feel that when people would read your book from cover to cover, what are the key takeaways here?
I do believe, and by the way, it's a collaboration. Yeah. And there is an individual in this book, Harlan, who I'm going to be interviewing on Sunday. So I want to make sure that people get over to apexoutcomes.com, and also if we can get it on the sales page on leadershipbooks .store. Mm-hmm. I want to get that on there. He's an amazing man, but there's some this was another thing, like we had Keith Elias and all these big name people, Seth Mosley, big, you know, country star. These guys, it was another one, like I'm in this book with all these people.
The endorsements are incredible too, not to interrupt you, but I look through the endorsements and I'm like, really? Like, this is really cool. I mean, I have more books than I have time to read, but I'm like, okay, like I went through the 2 pages of endorsements and I was like beyond impressed. Like, it's pretty stellar.
It's pretty amazing, isn't it? I just it makes me happy that this was my first time being published, and it just makes me happy that it's such a book of substance that connects our purpose, our life's purpose. Mm-hmm. So the first thing you really need to do is go back to, why am I here on earth? And then, you know, you can have all the passion in the world, but if you don't connect that to what you're supposed to be doing in life, then it's just angst. Mm-hmm. Passion turns to angst. So if you can connect it to something productive, if you're doing destructive things, all you have to do is connect why you're here on earth with something you can do that's productive, and that anxiety goes away, the angst goes away, and it turns into passion. Because we all have it. That's another thing. We've all had moments of passion. So if you're listening to this and you're feeling anxious today, remember those moments that you did have passion, you did have clarity, you did have excitement in your life. Everyone's got it. Mm-hmm. Why does our brain think that that's not normal, that that's going to go away? But all the bad things we think is normal, and that's life, the bad stuff, and this, the good stuff is like a treat, and it comes once in a while and we have to work so hard for it. So that's another thing that I touch on in my chapter of this book. One of the biggest things that hit me was talking about my brother who committed suicide in his 50s. So he has this beautiful life in the Hamptons, this beautiful family, amazing life. He gives to the community, very, very giving, amazing, passionate guy. Had something pretty bad happen that caused him like an ungodly amount of stress, mm-hmm. and he caved and he just killed himself. And the biggest thing that hit me was it deepened my relationship with his family, with his kids who are in their 30s, mm-hmm. And also his widow, his wife, and it gave me a bigger sense of responsibility to fill that hole. Mm-hmm. But also, there was a part of me that came back from his memorial and all that. I went back to leading at Active Forever, this huge company, and the smallest complaints that were huge deals in the office, I'd come back, the huge deals, and I would just go, it doesn't matter, mm-hmm. just let them send it back, whatever. It's not, it put everything in perspective, even to the point where, like right now, we built this big garage because my husband loves working on cars, mm-hmm. and we live in a beautiful area. And so our lot has almost a 360 view of mountains. And when we moved in, we cleared the lot. It was blocking all the views for the neighbors. Uh-huh. We came in, we cleared the lot. So our neighbor across the street was able to see through and see the mountains. Then we build this big garage that's in our life, that's my husband's dream. Like, we're thrilled, and that's our dream. Mm-hmm. And it's up, and it's like, this neighbor across the street knew she had mountains that she was looking at. Now she's seeing a garage. The garage is beautiful. She only sees this horrible thing to the point where she even, like, there's a huge lawsuit going on right now over the garage. So I'm like, how do you ruin your life like that? And we were letting her ruin our lives, but then we changed our minds. And we said, whatever she does to us is misery, but we're going to put it in a compartment over there and just keep praying for her. But I have to tell you, the things that get me angry is she's spending hundreds of thousands of dollars on this case. She should be donating that to charities, right? Mm-hmm. So we can drive ourselves nuts with thoughts. Mm-hmm. And that's all it is. It's thoughts. Mm-hmm. Or we can just continue to live our lives and go on with things and just deal with moments. So I think that's the big message here too, is just, it's noise. We treat ourselves like crap. We tell ourselves things that we would never ever say to someone else. It would be so mean. You know?
Oh yeah, we're our own, yeah, no, we're our own biggest punishers, to say the
Yeah.
least. Well, I think, to speak to your point too, I think that the only thing you can control is your own reaction to other people's behavior, because what they're going to do, they're going to do it anyway. So if she wants to sit there and be miserable where she should be donating $100,000 to a family in need right now, like that'd be the more holiday in general good thing to do. So to wrap this up, please let me know what you have new going on. Where can we buy this fantastic book? And please elaborate from there.
Okay, so I can tell you I have another book brewing. The blessing behind this horrible situation with this neighbor across the street. I kept asking why. Why is this happening? What's the blessing behind this? It is so painful, right? And this is our community. Nothing's more important than the feeling you get when you wake up and you live your life, right? It's a book. So there's a book coming out of that.
Yay!
Yes. And the other thing, so now I'm Chief Strategy and Public Health Officer for a brilliant design company, industrial products design company called Circ Plus. And the company has a robot that's sanitizing with all natural spray. It's what your body makes when you're fighting infections and disease. It's HOCl. So it's an all natural spray that kills COVID. So they've got smart room systems and these smart robots that don't require any human involvement. And it treats offices and hotels, and the biggest thing is schools, because we want to get the kids back in school for everyone's sanity, but they're for the sixth sense, for the soft skills that they're learning by being with each other, learning how to interact and feel things. It's different. Having to learn online is a whole different world. So
I agree. I'm a single mom with a 13-year-old, and it's a whole different. No, that's awesome. You're doing that. It's a whole different.
So it's CIRQPLUS, Circ Plus, and it's inexpensive. Like, it comes way under the cost of having a dude walking around your school spraying stuff. So our goal is to get those schools open. So that's the other thing. The book. I'm so excited.
We're talking about that, Erika. Yeah, that'd be cool. Like, where can we find the book?
I'm so excited. And thank you for getting it on. I'm so happy to be on leadershipbooks.store. So it's leadershipbooks.store. And you can either just search the word purpose, and our book comes up first. It's Purpose, Passion, and Profit. And you can search my name. It's ERIKA and then FEINBERG. And please, if you're of substance, reach out to me on LinkedIn. I really enjoy connecting with people on LinkedIn who have substance and a track record and a half, because at some point I would like to interview you and get your story. So that's what I'm up to for this book. It's about life-changing leadership.
Erika, it's been beyond a pleasure, and I'd like to have you on again and again. And I would like to talk to you for another hour, but I can't.
Oh, that's great. I would be delighted to come on again.
Thank you. Like, seriously, thank you so much. So to our listeners, please visit the website, click on Erika's website links, and get in touch. And this is a good read right now. And
funny.
Obviously,
you know what?
It's a good read.
I have one other thing I want a special request for everyone.
Go for it.
Go to peekforward.com. It's PEEK, peekforward.com, and take that little peek in assessment in the homepage. It's life-changing. This thing, I had a massive breakthrough with it. So I just want to leave you with that, to make sure that you reflect on those things. And it's going to set a foundation so you have a different way of looking at things and a new level of productivity and clarity going forward. So that's it. I'm going to leave you with
No,
that.
I absolutely love it. I just like hope for our listeners, they didn't want to go fly to Tahiti right now, because that's the first time I saw your website. My first thing was I would like to be tan and be on the beach, but what you're doing is so motivational and so awesome and so needed. So thank you so much for your time today. Most appreciated. And you're going to be back soon. Like
I hope so. I hope so. Thank you so much, Michelle.
Thanks, Erika. Thank you.
Thank you for joining us for today's broadcast. I do hope you enjoyed it as much as I did. And be sure to visit us online at leadershipbooks.store. There you'll find the works of some of the finest thought leaders today. And be sure to tune in here each week to gain even deeper insights from one of those leaders on the Compendium podcast.